Shalom, this is Rabbi Mark Hillel Kunis, and my taste of Torah for Purim 5781. Tonight, we will celebrate Purim. All the other holidays celebrate God's supernatural displays of love for the Jewish people, like the 10 plagues, the splitting of the Red Sea, hearing God's voice amidst the thunder and lightning at Sinai, oil for 1 day lasting for 8. Then there are miracles like the Purim story, understated, implicit. Like an anonymous tapestry, the Megillah of Esther weaves an intricate real-life drama that doesn't even mention the name of God. The Purim story is more like our story, as we experience God's not-so-obvious miracles every day. The heroine of Purim is Esther, and her name literally means that which is hidden. The word Megillah refers to a scroll, but literally means that which is revealed. So Megillat Esther actually means revealing that which is hidden. So Purim is a time to reveal God's presence, which is so often hidden. Let me give you a couple of more modern examples. After revealing the plot of Haman to destroy her and the Jews, King Ahasuerus asked Esther, what can he do to help her and her people? Esther asked the king to hang the 10 sons of Haman. But in the narrative, if you read it carefully, the 10 sons have already been killed. Rabbi Chaim Weiss-Mandel suggests that this refers to sometime in the future when 10 more sons of Haman will be killed. 10 more sons? Newsweek magazine, October 28, 1946, recorded that as 10 Nazi war criminals were hung at Nuremberg, one of the Nazis, Julius Streicher, called out, Purim Fest, 1946. There were 11 Nazis slated to be killed that day. Only 10 were because Hermann Göring committed suicide in his cell. Could this correspond to Haman's daughter, who killed herself as well, especially if you consider that Göring was a well-known cross-dresser? To top it all off, if you look carefully at the names of Haman's 10 sons as they are written in the Megillah, you would see that there are 3 letters written with a smaller font, a Taf, a Shin, and a Zayin. Taf Shin Zayin is a way of writing the Jewish year 5707, which was 1946. There was another Haman in the world at that time, Stalin. When Israel's first ambassador to the USSR, Golda Meir, arrived in Moscow in October 1948, she visited the Choral Synagogue for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Since this was one of the only synagogues left in the Soviet Union that the communists had not destroyed, it was assumed that it would be crowded. But more than 50,000 Jews showed up outside the shul because the shul couldn't contain them to greet her. Stalin was incensed. After she left, Jewish leaders were arrested and tortured. In the infamous doctor's plot, the most qualified Jewish doctors were arrested and tortured. Their show trial was supposed to begin during the first week of March 1953, and then 1 week later they were to be publicly hanged in Moscow and other big cities around the USSR. On the same day, a letter from prominent Jews were to be published that asked Stalin to save the Jewish people from pogroms by sending them to Siberia. In a couple of days, all the Jews of the Soviet Union were to be rounded up and deported. Every part of this plan, this evil plan, was set in place. Thousands of cattle cars were at the ready. Sound familiar? Those Jews who would survive this deportation, a grueling month-long trip, would die in a few days after arrival in the Siberian cold. 3 million Jews of Stalin's empire who managed to survive the Holocaust would now be exterminated. However, all this never happened because Stalin suddenly died. Nikita Khrushchev recounts Stalin's deathbed order to him. The good workers at the factory should be given clubs so they can beat those Jews. Knowing better than anyone else what their evil boss was about and fearing for their own lives, Stalin's closest gang members chose that time to poison him at a drinking party on March 1st, 1953. You guessed it, the night of Purim. Who knows how many Jewish lives were saved that Purim night? Perhaps 3 million. As in the Purim story, and as in so many events in our lives, God is not always obvious. But if we will just open our eyes, we will see him and all the blessings that he showers upon us. Purim Sameach, and have a great Shabbos.